Good morning to all of you. Welcome to the session. Let us start the session with a nice quote. What is today's quote? An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. I will repeat. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. Knowledge, there is another saying when it comes to knowledge. Knowledge is power. It is not money. It is not authority. What is power? Knowledge is power. An investment in knowledge today always pays the best interest in future. A very useful quote. Now let us see what is there to learn from vocabulary point of view, effective English point of view. Today you're going to learn these words, mount. Mount, it has got a lot of meanings. In this context, it means to increase or to become bigger in size, to increase slowly or gradually. Mortality means deaths. Mortality rate, the rate of deaths. This is an important word, infirm. Infirm, inform, both are different. Infirm means weak and fragile. Gamut means entire range of something, or range of a few things. But remember the keyword range. Sober means serious and calm. Usually it goes with drinking, but in this context it has a different meaning. Whammy has got, already you have got the word whammy twice or thrice. This has got a positive connotation as well as a negative connotation. What is a positive connotation? To have the magical spell or to have the magical power. What is the negative meaning of this word? An event that is painful or negative. This is rather easy. Eagerness to do something. Enthusiasm to do something. Hypothesis, you got to be careful with the spelling. Hypothesis singular, hypothesis plural. A theory or idea without any evidence. Silver lining, in a difficult situation, you see some hope, you see something that is bright or positive. That is known as silver lining. This is an idiomatic expression, very important. Comorbidities means there is a primary disease. Along with that, you have other diseases or other health issues. Then we use the term comorbidities. These are the words you're going to learn today from the editorial. And what are the idioms? This is the most important. It has been given in various competitive exams many a time. Achilles Heel. I will not tell the meaning. That is, you have to recollect. Already you have learnt and you have to consolidate. Black leg. Right now, this is in the limelight. This is important that way. Cut the Gordian knot. This is also very important. Quite often you come across in the newspapers this particular idiomatic expression. Do away with. This goes with everyday English as well as effective English. Eye opener. Usually this goes with everyday English. What are the 5 phrasal verbs? Yield up. Everyday English as well as effective English. Win through, easy to make out. Vouch for, everyday English as well as effective English. Twitter away, easy to make out, especially the young generation. Swear by, easy to make out. Today you're going to work on spot the errors, not that easy today. Sync model I have brought for the first time. Sync model, sync is a short form of synchronize. You see 2 sentences, each sentence with a blank. You see 4 options. One word you have to select that goes with both the sentences. Parajumble, a reading comprehension skill. Today I haven't found any interesting headline. No headline today. Interesting in the sense, vocabulary point of view. What is today's editorial? Something went wrong, in fact. Last night, usually they upload the editorial, today's editorial, midnight. After 12, usually 10 past 12. Last night when I checked, I found this one. But morning when I checked, I found 2 different editorials. So there was no time to change. I would like to continue with the same editorial. That is a bit surprising. I was taken aback, to be very frank, to be candid. What is this editorial about? Coronavirus cases, recoveries, mortality rates, and the future. What is the background? This is the latest information. You can see the date. As of 4th June 2020, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has confirmed a total of 216,919 cases, 104,107 recoveries, including one migration, and 6,075 deaths in the country. One is number of cases, the other number of recoveries, the third number of deaths. India currently has the largest number of confirmed cases in the Asian continent, with the number of total confirmed cases breaching the 1 lakh mark. Breach means to cross in this context, on 19th May and 2 lakh on 3rd June. India's case fatality rate, death rate, is relatively lower at 2.80% against the global 6.13% as of June. This is something positive. 6 cities account for around half of all reported cases in the country. Half of all the reported cases you come across in 6 cities. What are the 6 cities? Mumbai, Delhi, Ahmedabad, Chennai, Pune, and Kolkata. Now let us go to the editorial. That is the background information. What is this editorial about? It is about, as of now, the number of coronavirus cases, the number of recoveries, the number of mortalities, and what is the future, what the future holds for, what are we supposed to do, and what is the framework. It starts with a positive note using a particular idiom. What is it? Silver lining. Introduction starts with a positive note, and writer has used an idiomatic expression, silver lining. What is the meaning of the expression silver lining? Silver lining of a cloud, silver lining. You are in a difficult situation, you are in a problematic situation, you see some hope or you see something positive, that is known as silver lining. Then the editorial talks about the 2 aspects. One is fatality rate, the other high recovery rate. There are 3 things here. The editorial focuses on 3 things. One is the number of cases, how to stop the number of cases, one thing, and as of now, the number of cases. And it also focuses on 2 important aspects or dimensions. One is fatality rate. Fortunately, it is about 2.2%. And high recovery rate. This is also on the positive side. Flattening of the curve, that the editorial says a bit difficult to handle. And feasibility, to what extent we can control. Then it talks about one particular aspect, counting the mortality rate, the deaths, how to deal with the present situation or how to deal with what is going to happen, how to be cautious, how to handle the present and how to go into the future, and the conclusion. This is a broad framework. Now let us see how it starts, and curves and recoveries. Here curves, it talks about the number of cases going up, coming down, what is the curve, and recoveries. On India's coronavirus numbers, as I said at the outset, this editorial is all about coronavirus cases and the numbers related to the number of cases, the number of deaths, the number of recoveries. As cases mount, there is one important word here, mount. In this context, it means increase, gradually increase, or become bigger in size. This is the main idea. As cases mount, India must focus on keeping mortality low. The cases are going, the number is growing, in spite of lockdown, in spite of so many measures. Now, in that scenario, in that context, what are we supposed to do? We have to work on 2 aspects. One is we have to keep the mortality rate low, one thing, and we have to focus on the recovery rate. The recovery rate also should go up. This has to come down and that has to go up. But what is more important, focus on keeping mortality low. There's one word here, mortality means death. The silver lining, how does it start? Introduction with a positive note. The silver lining equivalent of science in this COVID-19 pandemic for India is a relatively low case fatality rate or mortality rate, both mean the same, and the high recovery rate. As I said, this editorial focuses on primarily on 2 things. One is a mortality or fatality rate, the other recovery rate. At the same time, it focuses on making the curve flat. That means the number of cases. Now it talks about fatality, the first dimension. This is the first dimension. This is the second dimension. Case fatality rate means what? The number of deaths among the cases detected has been dropping over the months and is at 2.79% as of 5 p.m. on June 3rd, perhaps the latest information. So it has been dropping, that is something positive, that is something good. Has been dropping, that is in present perfect continuous, over the months and is at 2.7% as of 5 p.m. on June 3rd. Fatality. Then what could be the reasons for this fatality rate dropping over? The editorial says, experts have advanced several hypotheses. Hypothesis, singular, hypothesis, plural. Experts have advanced several hypotheses, but without a precise understanding. Precise means exact understanding. Healthcare managers are just hoping the good run would continue. There is no precise understanding, not easy to understand, but it doesn't matter. Healthcare managers are just hoping the good run means the same positive situation would continue. What could be the reason? Not easy to make out, but several theories have been forwarded. Hypothesis. Now the second dimension, as I said, the first dimension, fatality rate, the second dimension, the high recovery rate. Editorial talks about the recovery aspect. Recovery rate, which is a rate of transition from a state of infection to recovery from the disease, here measured as a percentage of the total cases, has been on an upward trajectory, upward path, upward direction. This is again positive. Recovery cases, the number going up is positive. Death rate or mortality rate or fatality rate coming down is again positive. This figure, inclusive of people who tested positive being discharged from hospitals, is now over 48% according to health ministry officials. This talks about recovery. Now it talks about the number of cases and how to make the curve, how to flatten the curve. As the total numbers keep climbing daily, the number of cases, the numbers keep climbing daily, well over 2 lakh cases so far. The ideal flattening the case curve with what is currently known about the disease and with available resources is perhaps difficult. The editorial takes a negative stand over here. It says something is difficult, perhaps, not damn sure, perhaps. And what is difficult, what is perhaps difficult? Flattening the case curve, that is the third dimension the editorial talks about. Then what is the feasibility of reducing the number of deaths? However, reducing the number of deaths by protecting the old and the infirm, this is an important word, it means weak and vulnerable and fragile from exposure, and improving the recovery rate, flattening the first curve and ensuring the later rises, means improving the recovery rate, seem well within the reach. Though it is difficult, it seems well within the reach. This is an important expression. This talks about the feasibility. Now it talks about a particular concept. What is that? The counting aspect. I think all these sentences talk about counting. It is important to ensure that the same urgency and eagerness, enthusiasm that goes into counting those who have recovered is reflected when counting the dead. As per World Health Organization definitions, the death of every COVID-19 patient is to be counted as a COVID death unless there is a clear alternative cause of death that cannot be related. Example, trauma. If it is exclusively related to COVID-19, it should be considered COVID-19 death, obviously. Guidelines in India require states to record these COVID-19 deaths with notes on complications resulting from pre-existing comorbidities. This is an important word. A person has a particular primary disease. Along with it, he has a few other diseases. Then we use the expression comorbidities. And every state needs to follow this model. It has to, here it talks about COVID-19 deaths with, record these COVID-19 deaths with notes on complications resulting from pre-existing comorbidities, and every state needs to follow this model. With states also monitoring severe acute respiratory infections. There is one important word here, acute. Acute means severe. This is a bit strange. Severe acute. Here, severe means acute, acute means severe. That is a bit strange. And influenza-like illnesses in hospitals, the entire gamut, means entire range of severe respiratory diseases is being monitored, and deaths will not pass unnoticed. So there's nothing wrong with the count. The count, whatever India says, it is rather authentic based on these models and based on these aspects. Assuring people with, now it talks about how to deal with the present scenario, how to deal with the present situation, assuring people with known exposure, not necessarily only with symptoms, to SARS-CoV-2 and that they will have access to COVID-19 tests, ensuring that they reach care facilities before becoming extremely breathless. Protecting vulnerable populations are surefire ways of delivering a double whammy against the disease. A lengthy sentence, not over. Reducing case fatality rate further and bumping up the recovery rate, increasing the recovery rate. It all talks about all this, the lengthy sentence, pretty lengthy, perhaps the lengthiest. Where does it start? It starts here and ends here. It talks about how to deal with this situation, and it has to, one aspect, assuring people with known exposure that they will have access to COVID-19 test, one thing, ensuring that they reach care facilities before becoming extremely breathless, second thing, protecting vulnerable populations, third thing. These are surefire ways of delivering a double whammy, a double impact against the disease. In that case, what happens? The fatality rate comes down and the recovery rate increases. How does the editorial? Still, it talks about how to deal with the present scenario, present situation. Even if efforts to control transmission are being frustrated, we have a problem as of now. What is that problem? Though the fatality rate has been coming down, though the recovery rate has been going up, we are not able to control the number of cases related to transmission. This sentence talks about that. Even if efforts to control, what is strange here, in spite of lockdown, the cases, the number has been going up. The number of cases has been going up. Even if efforts to control transmission are being frustrated. The sober means calm and cool, way of dealing with COVID-19 is to focus on the really sick patients while ensuring that others who test positive but remain asymptomatic also have access to care when they develop symptoms. This also talks about how to deal with the particular disease or outbreak. How does it conclude? The center and states must specifically attempt to destigmatize stigma. Already I've got the word stigma. There is a stigma on a particular community, means what? No approval, no social approval, rather disapproval. People don't like that. There's a stigma on scavenging profession. Attempt to destigmatize COVID-19 infection and ramp up, you have got this many a time, increase. Ramp up what? Awareness activities informing people about symptoms in order to encourage people to come forward early. This will amount to, now when the center and state, they do this, what will it amount to? This will amount to or equal to seizing. Seize means to grab something suddenly and forcibly. Seizing the silver lining and battering it into a whole crowd means you have one line, you try to expand that, besides keeping the country's focus on the right curves. Curves again, the number of cases, the number of deaths, the number of recoveries. That's all about today's editorial. A bit strange because you don't see this editorial in today's paper. You see two different editorials. Why did this happen? Last night while I was working, I came across only one editorial, and this was this one. So I had to work on this. Only morning when I went through the newspaper, I got the shock and I was taken aback. Now let us see what is there to learn from today's editorial. Mount, an important word. Gradually increase, rise or get bigger. Mortality, important. Deaths, silver lining, important idiomatic expression. Whenever you are distressed, whenever you are in low spirits, try to look at the silver lining. You will definitely find a silver lining, some hope, because life is always like that. We have to see ups and downs. Whenever we come across a bad situation, a particular problem, try to look at the silver lining in that particular situation. Hypothesis, an important word. Ideas or explanations without evidence. Once evidence is there, it becomes science. Infirm, an important word. ill or needing care. You can also think of the word weak. Eagerness, it goes with everyday English. Enthusiasm to do something. Comorbidities, presence of one or more additional conditions co-occurring with a primary condition. Here, condition in the sense of particular disease. Gamut, a complete range or extent of something. Whammy, as I said, it has got two different meanings. One is positive, the other is negative. What is a positive meaning? A magical spell or power. But usually it has a negative connotation. What is a negative meaning? An event with a powerful and unpleasant effect. Yesterday, one student, I answered this, I think 4 times or 5 times, the student wanted to know the difference between affect and effect. And I saw that, I answered. AFFECT, affect is a verb. Affect, affected, affected. EFFECT, it is a verb as well as a noun. But usually it is used as a noun. Effect, effects, plural form. Sober, usually this goes with drinking. After drinking, some people, they lose a balance. They get intoxicated. But some people, they remain calm and quiet. Then we say sober, sober person. But another connotation, here it does not mean that, nothing to do with drinking. Serious and calm, a serious approach. Now let us see what is there to learn from effective English point of view, phrases point of view. I haven't come across a lot of expressions worth learning, only a few from today's editorial. The first one is rather important. The silver lining equivalent of science. Silver lining, something that is bright in otherwise negative situation. The number of deaths among the cases detected has been dropping over the months. In the exam, they may give a sentence like this, because a subject has got separated. Then it results in confusion. The number is a subject of deaths among the cases detected. That is a phrase, don't consider. The number always takes a singular verb. I think we got yesterday. Has been. In the exam, they may give the number of deaths among the cases detected have been dropping. Not correct. Has been dropping. An important one from the exam point of view. Experts have advanced several hypotheses. This is very important. I think I have brought one question related to this. It should be easy for you to answer, because I have already emphasized hypothesis singular, hypothesis plural. This you have to remember. It goes with important plural forms. Seem, something seems, and a few things, they seem well within their reach or within reach. Seem well within reach means feasible. Something is feasible. Important expression. Surefire ways, sure short ways, surefire ways. That means foolproof. It is going to work out. Remember this expression, important. And double whammy, triple whammy. I think one editorial we got triple whammy, now double whammy. Remember this is in the limelight. Ramp up awareness activities. Ramp up production. Usually it goes with manufacturing sector. Ramp up production means what? Increase. But here it has been used with another different word altogether. Awareness activities. Ramp up awareness activities. Not that difficult, but I want you guys to remember silver lining, rather important. Well within reach. Success, you guys have been working so hard. I'm sure success is well within your reach. When you write examples, try to write examples that go with your lifestyle and relevant to your lifestyle, then easy to remember. Now, what is there to learn from comprehension skill point of view? Questions and answers, what is this editorial about? And today I will definitely spend some time. I'm going to start a new dimension. Yesterday, a few students must have got disappointed regarding descriptive paper, regarding the synopsis or the gist of the editorial. But for every topic, you need introduction. Today, at the fag end of the session, I'm going to talk about descriptive paper point of view. The same tips will be useful when it comes to writing the editorial. So last 5 minutes I'll spend, and from tomorrow I'm going to spend today's editorial. Tomorrow you will see the editorial, the gist of the editorial. In brief, you will find, and that should help you. Will give an idea how to write the editorial in your own sentences. What is this editorial about? What is the present fatality rate? Fact-based. What is the present recovery rate? Fact-based. What seems well within reach? You could say the reach or reach. What is a sober way of dealing with COVID-19? And what will amount to seizing the silver lining and battering it into a whole crowd, expanding it, it means. Easy to answer, should not be a problem. And important grammar rule. A lot of our students know, I'm sure, because one day a particular student said, so why don't we, instead of common errors, why not one grammar rule every day? I found it quite useful. So exam point of view, it is better to focus initially on important grammar rules. After that, we can think of common errors. The spring season has its own beauty. Here, what is the subject? Spring season. English people, when they saw certain things or objects, they were awestruck. They were awestruck. And something expresses power and strength, they attributed the masculine gender. Something expresses beauty and grace, they attributed the feminine gender. And examples for masculine gender, the sun, summer, winter, time, death. Examples for feminine gender, nature, earth, moon, spring, autumn. Spring season is considered the most beautiful season. So here, spring expresses beauty and grace. They attributed the feminine gender. We cannot use its. What is the correct expression? The spring season has her own beauty. This is an important one. I'm sure if you show the same sentence, the first sentence, to a lot of students who are convent educated, they may say the sentence is right. And it looks right, it seems right, but it is not right. The spring season, a lot of people say, the spring season has its own beauty. It goes with common errors as well. But what is the correct sentence? The spring season has her own beauty. Why, sir? If you ask me, sir, why? There is no answer. English, it is not our language, it is a language. They have every right to use the way they like. We cannot question. We have to respect, accept, and move on. Now let us go to the exercise part. The first one deals with spot the errors. Have a look at the sentences and, as usual, try to spot the error. Some of these are really difficult, not easy. If you get all the 6, I'm not quite sure 5 or 6, but if you get all the 5 or all the 6 correct, you should be extremely happy. That is, I will say, wonderful, outstanding. I don't know how many students are here. Let me check. Should be 300 plus 342. That's a good number. So first one, the easiest. What is the reason? You have listened to that explanation twice or thrice today and should not be a problem. 1 second, you should be able to. Experts have advanced several hypotheses. Several is plural. Several students. We don't say several student. So obviously hypothesis is not correct. That is singular. What is a plural? Hypothesis, SES. The easiest one, rather, you must have answered with a smile. Question number 1. Please go to question number 2. Hypothesis, singular, and hypothesis, plural. Singular, plural. Here, several, that means we have to use the plural form. Could you please tell the difference between sustenance and subsistence? I think the other day I answered, both are synonyms. The words, they have many meanings. One of the meanings, when it comes to synonyms, maintenance of something. Sustenance means maintenance. Subsistence also means maintenance. I have answered that particular doubt. Please go to sentence number 2. It is important to ensure that the same urgency and eagerness that goes into counting, those who have recovered is reflected when, not exactly, this goes with parallel expression. That's why I have underlined, goes into counting, goes into counting, and those who have recovered is reflected when counting the dead. They count is not correct. When counting, what is the correct sentence? It is important to ensure that the same urgency and eagerness that goes into counting, I emphasize, that goes into counting, don't consider, that goes into counting those who have recovered is reflected when counting the dead. When counting the dead. When I say this, a lot of students, they get this doubt. So is it when or while? Because here the verb has ing form. present participle. Here, when, usually regular classes also I tell, when goes with past tense or a sentence that is not in continuous form, while goes with a sentence that is in continuous form. But do remember, English has rules, English has exceptions. In this context, the word when is also correct. When counting the dead is correct, while counting the dead is also correct. But here you cannot use they count. What is the reason? The question is related to parallel expression. Counting, counting. Same form has to be used. Please go to sentence number 3. Sentence number 3, what baffle? Baffle means surprise, confuse, bewilder, perplex. What baffles most observers is a rationale, the reason behind, the thinking behind, logical thinking behind. How come you guys are not responding? I don't see the messages. Sentence number 3. I hope there's no problem. Now I see. Behind the Chinese escalation on the line of actual control, while the entire world is preoccupied with battling COVID-19, the biggest crisis humanity faced since the Second World War. This is rather easy. You can use they here when they counting. No, you cannot use. When they count is correct. When they counting, not correct. This is rather easy, should not be a problem, but no one has got it right so far. There's a clue. Whenever you try to spot a particular, you try to work on, spot the errors, your focus should be on the time phrase. Very important. English is the most romantic language of the world, but common errors hurts. Who is this? Banu Prakash. I'm sorry to correct you. In the entire world, if you take the different languages, every language has a tag. French language is known as the most romantic language. The tag most romantic language goes with French language. French language is known as the most romantic language. Then you may ask, sir, what is the tag that goes with English language? English is known as the most polite language. What is it known as? The most polite language. In fact, there is a concept called English gentleman. Who is this English gentleman? He always wears a coat, wears a hat. One hand he has an umbrella, the other hand he has a cigar, and he's very polite when he talks to others, especially when he talks to ladies. Because of that, English gentleman is part of English culture. English is known as the most polite language. Where is the error? Here, I'm really surprised. Only 1 or 2 students have got it right. I think Nandu has got it right. I'm not sure about other students. Since the Second World War, when you see the preposition since and the time in the past, you have to think of 2 tenses. One is present perfect, the other is present perfect continuous. But here it does not demand present perfect continuous. We have to use present perfect. The biggest crisis humanity faced past tense, it is not correct. The biggest crisis humanity has faced since the Second World War. The humanity has faced. We have to use present perfect. Not have been facing, has faced. The biggest crisis humanity has faced since the Second World War. I thought you would get it right, a lot of students, but only a few could get it right. Remember, he has played 5 matches since Monday. He has played how many matches? 5 matches. Since when? Since Monday. That means from the past. If you ask me, sir, what exactly does it mean? From the past to the present, should not go into the future. Then we use present perfect. He has written 5 books so far. He has written 5 books since 2010. From 2010 to present, he has written 5 books. The same way, the biggest crisis humanity has faced since the Second World War. Please go to sentence number 4. This is again very important. This goes with parallel expression. They have given in many competitive exams. The more New Delhi overlooks them, the more Beijing. That's right. The more, you have to use the. Here also, the more. The more New Delhi overlooks them, the more Beijing would be tempted to repeat them. It is nothing but parallel expression. The higher you go, the cooler it is. The more you spend, the less you have. Similar patterns. The more you spend, the less you have. The higher you go, the cooler it is. Now go to sentence number 5. This is again rather easy, should not be a problem. Why most observers? Question number 3. What is wrong with that expression? What baffles most observers? Many observers, most observers. Nothing wrong with that. Please go to sentence number 5. Should be 1 second. You should be able to. Question number 2. What is it? Here, it is important to ensure that the same urgency and eagerness that goes into counting, is reflected when counting the dead. Here, the idea is 2 actions. One is counting what? Those who have recovered. The other one, counting the dead. We have to use the same verb form. And it talks about when it comes to counting those who have recovered, they should have the same eagerness. When it comes to counting the dead, they should have the same eagerness. Counting, same eagerness. Counting those who have recovered and counting the dead, they should have the same eagerness. That's what it means. What is, this is the easiest. That China is raising superpower. No, rising superpower. Here we have to use rising, not raising. Again, you remember, rise and raise. 2 important verbs. They go with confusing verbs. Rise, intransitive verb. It goes with going to the higher position. The sun rises in the east. And raise is a transitive verb. It takes an object. Raise your hands. Raise the standards. So here, rising superpower, growing superpower. We cannot say raising. It should be rising. The correct word is rising. Please go to the last one. This is again very important. If you get this right, I'll be very happy. And you should be very happy. Sentence number 6. The question of the day, that is, in my opinion, sentence number 6 or question number 6. Very good. 𝐒𝐄𝐈𝐀 has got it right. 𝐒𝐄 has got it right. Let us wait for others also. And yes, only one student, Sai Jyotsna, has got, but she has written reflexive pronoun. That is also right. I appreciate those who have got it right. Here, what is the verb? Pride. Pride, then pride on something, but preposition on is there. Then we have to use a reflexive pronoun. India prides, then one word is missing. Which word is that? India prides itself. India prides itself on being. It takes the verb pride. It's a reflexive verb. And it takes the reflexive pronoun. What is the reflexive pronoun here? India prides itself on being the world's largest democracy. This is an important one, exam point of view. Enjoy. What are the reflexive verbs? Enjoy, pride, absent, avail, avenge, revenge. All these reflexive verbs you have to recollect. But in the exam, many a time they have given the reflexive verb, enjoy. They enjoyed a lot yesterday. Not correct. They enjoyed themselves a lot yesterday. But when we say they enjoyed the party yesterday, nothing wrong with that. If there's an object, absolutely no problem. Now, this is a new exercise. This is known as sync model. Initially started by RBI. Later, other banks also, they started giving questions related to sync model. Sync is a short form of synchronize. What is this? The India. How can you say the Indian? You cannot say. What is the reason? India is the name of a country, proper noun. Before a proper noun, we cannot use any article. But we do have exceptions. What are the exceptions? Names of countries, a few countries like the US, the UK, the Irish Republic, the Netherlands, Recently we have got one particular country. Some countries, the Netherlands, the US, the UK, and the UAE, the Ukraine, a new country, the Ukraine, you can use the, but not India. India you cannot use. Again, if you ask me, sir, why should we say the US, the UK, the Netherlands, the Ukraine, the UAE, and why shouldn't we say the India? It is not our language. English people, they must have had some reasons, and we cannot question those reasons. And we don't have to go so deep into the language. All that we have to do, remember, the USSR, but now it doesn't exist. So we have to learn, remember, respect, and move on. Let me talk about sync model. What is the sync model? You see two sentences. Each sentence there is a blank. This is sentence number 1, sentence number 2. Then you see 5 options, but here you see 4 options. You have to select one particular word that goes with both the sentences. And the meaning should not change. It is not like that. If you take Netherlands, not a group. Netherlands is not a group. It's only a country. The Netherlands. The Irish Republic. Irish Republic, not a group of. It is the Irish Republic. As I said, they may have their own reasons. The United States, that's a group. The UK, that's a group. Formerly the USSR, that's a group. But the Netherlands, the Irish Republic, the Ukraine, not a group. So there's no rule as such. Now please go to sentence number 1 related to sync model. We are running out of time. What is the right word? Passengers aboard an Uttar Pradesh bound Shramik special train from Chennai heaved a sigh of. Before you see the options, you have to think of one particular word, but you have to look at the second sentence and make sure that particular word goes with both the sentences. Dean opened his connecting door and found to his she had not locked her side. What? Surprise. Heaved a sigh of surprise. Usually here the clue for you, this is rather easy if you know the standard phrase. Heave a sigh of surprise, not correct. Astonishment, not correct. Relief is the word, and relax is not correct. But you have to cross-check. Does it go with the second sentence? Dean opened his connecting door and found to his relief she had not locked her side. The right word is relief. Now go to sentence number 2. Surprise is not correct. Heaved a sigh of surprise. That is not the standard phrase. Heave a sigh of relief. When you are tensed up, and astonishment means surprise. Astonished. Surprised a lot. Astonished, amazed. Something is amazing, astonishing, incredible. Means a lot of surprise. Astonishment, surprise. To a great extent. Sentence number 2. What is the correct word? Sigh of relief. That's a typical expression. And it also takes the verb heave. Heave a sigh of relief. Oh, power cut. I will continue. Should not be a problem. You may not see me. That shouldn't stop. Please, thank God. Okay. It is carrying out the works day and night since the number of vehicles is on the roads due to the lockdown. One little girl had presents than the rest, and Helen insisted on sharing her gifts with her. This is an important one. It looks easy, but in isolation, this is not an easy one. Here it talks about number of vehicles, countable, presents, countable, presents here, gifts. Then we cannot say lesser. Lesser goes with quantity, something uncountable. And fewer, this seems right, hold this one. Few, a few means at least some. Few, nothing, almost nothing. It has a negative connotation, we cannot consider. Less again goes with quantity, uncountable. What is the right word? This is the correct word. Second option is the answer. Sync model, sentence number 3. When it comes to sync model, do remember you have to take elimination approach, one thing, and you have to use your grammar knowledge. Word forms, very important. And elimination. Here, some options go with one sentence, and they don't go with the other sentence. Then you cannot consider. That's right. Please go to sentence number 3. The last word. And the victims had come out of something. It was hard to believe he didn't understand the source of her, and yet he acted as though he was baffled, surprised. Situation, no, it is not right. Because here it talks about counseling, it talks about victims. Then situation is a neutral word. A situation could be positive, a situation could be negative. But here the context is negative. Then we cannot use the word situation. Out of agonizing, word form is not correct. Had I given agony, it is right. But agonizing, grammatically, it is not correct. And trauma, it would have been right. But grammatically, traumatic, not correct. Adjective. And what are you left with? Distress. Victims had come out of distress, and the source of her distress. Answer is agonizing is not correct. What is the reason? Grammatically, it is not correct. We have to use a noun form. Agonizing experience, that is adjective. Agony, noun form. Had I given agony, that would have been the answer. So agonizing is not correct. What is the answer? Distress is the answer. Now please go to sentence number 4. This is rather easy if you know the context. Exactly. Victims, distress, that is a clue. Come out of distress. The clue for you, the word victims. Situation is a neutral word. Agonizing, wrong word form. Traumatic means to suffer. Trauma means pain, extreme suffering. And trauma, from that you get traumatic. Agony, trauma, more or less the same. They are rather synonyms. Please go to sentence number 4. It was almost always full of people. It talks about the airport. It was almost always full of people looking to a bite. The clue for you, a bite. Usually we say have a bite, grab a bite. But if you may consider grab, have. Possess a bite, that is not right. Acquire a bite, not correct. You have to decide between grab a bite, have a bite. Both are correct. These two words go with the first sentence. Now you have to look at the second sentence. What is it? When it is over, you should be able to have the necklace and bring it to me. You should be able to grab the necklace and bring it to me. Again, a bit difficult to decide. Then how do you decide? Usage point of view, in this context, the first sentence, usually better English between have a bite, grab a bite. Have a bite doesn't talk about urgency, but grab a bite talks about urgency. Airport, you can't take your own time. You have to grab something. Grab means what? To take something quickly. So based on that, the answer is grab. Based on the context. This is what precisely I call contextual awareness. If you ask me, sir, why not have? Have doesn't talk about urgency. This context is airport. In the airport, you can't take your own sweet time to do something. You have to do things very fast. When you want to have something, you have to grab it. That, based on that, the correct word is grab. Sentence number 5. This is rather easy, should not be a problem. Rambabu, what does it mean? A good question, a bad question? What exactly does it mean? Grab something, take something quickly. Please go to the last sentence. When it is over, context grabs something. But here you can't make out. Airport context you can make out. It is not have, it is grab. My pleasure. Now please go to the last one. Rather easy, should not be a problem. Yes, a lot of students have got it right. And here was allegedly forced to dig. What is a clue for you? Dig. You dig what? A grave. Dig goes with a grave. Hold that one. We realized very quickly we had made a grave mistake. The word grave has got two different meanings. One, the thing you dig to lay a dead body, grave, and it goes with crematorium, graveyard. And here grave, another meaning, serious, very serious. Grave mistake means what? Serious mistake. Based on that, pit, dig a pit, it goes with the first sentence, not with the second sentence. Serious doesn't go with the first sentence and goes with the second sentence. Grave goes with the first sentence as well as the second sentence. Dig a hole goes with the first sentence, not in that context. It doesn't go with the second sentence. What is the answer? Answer is the word grave. Two different meanings. Graveyard and here grave mistake, grave situation. I would like to know who has got all the five correct. All the five correct. Sync model. Could you please respond? Who has got all the five correct? That is highly appreciable. No, serious doesn't go with the first sentence. To dig a serious, that is not right. But serious mistake, it is right. When it comes to sync model, do remember, you have to cross-check. One particular option may go with one sentence, it may not go with the other sentence, then eliminate. The word serious goes with the second sentence, it doesn't go with the first sentence. So you cannot consider the word serious. Who has got all the five? No one has got all the five correct. That is rather strange, but no problem. You have seen for the first time. Oh, someone is here. Who is this? All the five correct. Pravalika has got all the five correct. Anyone else? Please go to the parajumble. I will give you time. It takes some time because lengthy parts. And how many parts are there? 6 parts. Please have a look at it carefully. But to give the clue, it is like 3 ideas and each idea 2 sentences or 2 parts. Okay, a few students have got it right. One is Shamala has got it right. Manasa has got all the 5 correct. And who else? Murali has got all the 5 correct. Pravalika has got all the 5 correct. Shivateja has got all the 5 correct. Vijay Kumar, okay, very good. And Mr. Bharat has got all the 5 correct. I have read out that name. I'm giving you time to work on the parajumble. Not easy. You need some time. Yes, Rajshekhar, that is right. Ubiquitous, omnipresent, present everywhere. This is all about the migrant workers, the downtrodden, underprivileged, backward communities. What is the first one? The migrants are ubiquitous, present everywhere, omnipresent. Their numbers are staggering, staggering price, increasing, phenomenal. 100 million migrant laborers spread across our large metros. This is the first sentence. C is the first sentence. And here, easy to make out 100 million and another 40 million. Another 40 million. What is the second sentence? Obviously, it should be A is the second sentence. These two go with one particular idea. 100 million, 40 million. Another 40 million. Now go to the third sentence. What is the third sentence? Third one is also easy, should not be a problem. B is the third one. They are construction. Who are these migrant workers? The writer wants to tell us. They are the construction workers, courier boys, taxi drivers, painters, carpenters, security guards, cooks, maids, vegetable vendors, and service providers of every kind imaginable. And service providers, this also goes with migrant workers. Who are they? The answer for that, who are they? They are all these and service providers of every kind imaginable who keep us well provided, happy and warm. What is 3? What is 4? B, D, 1 pair. C, A, 1 pair. B, D, 1 pair. What are the last 2 sentences? Again, the pronoun they. They means the migrant workers. 5 is E, that is right. They put food on our table. Oh, no, this is not correct. 5 is, F is 5. Our agriculture today in peak seasons of harvest and sowing depends largely on migrants. Here, agriculture, and here the clue for you, food. And here, migrants, migrant workers, the pronoun they. So what is the last sentence? Our agriculture today in peak seasons of harvest and sowing depends largely on migrants. They means migrants put food on our table. They are the warp and woof of our society. This is an important idiomatic expression. Warp and woof means what? It means the basis of something, the foundation of something. Warp and woof. Remember, the foundation of something. Now, how does it go? It starts with the migrant workers are ubiquitous. Their numbers are staggering. Here the clue for you. Whatever you see in yellow, those words, they talk about the line of thought, continuity, and how you have to get the next one. Here 100 million and another 40 million. These two are related. They are all these people and service providers of every kind imaginable. Again, related these two. Our agriculture depends on migrants. And these migrants, again, a pronoun they, food related to agriculture on our table. Then the last sentence talks about the importance of migrant workers. They are the warp and woof of our society, the foundation of our society. Who has got the correct order? That's wonderful. Nandu has got the correct order. F, why not with F? No, it doesn't talk about that. Here, you should always ask the question, what is this about? This is not about agriculture. This is about migrant workers. Instead of using migrant workers, the writer has used migrants. You should understand, when you read 5 or 6 sentences, please remember, after going through all the 5 or 6 parts, you have to ask the question, what is this about? Then if you get the answer, this is about agriculture, start with agriculture. This is not about agriculture. The parajumble is all about migrant workers. So you have to start with migrant workers, not with agriculture. Please go to the next exercise, vocabulary. We are running out of time. It's already 8:58. You got to practice a lot. Only then you can. Which exam are you talking about? Is there any exam in the near future? Yesterday, someone asked a particular exam when it is. I don't want to talk about the exam dates and all. I'm not the right person, and I'm not keen on that. My job is only to teach. I focus on teaching. I stick to teaching. I don't want to talk about other aspects. What is the first word here? Mount, part of speech, verb. It's a regular verb. What is the meaning of that? Gradually increase, rise, or get bigger. D is the answer. Absolutely right. We don't know. I don't want to talk about the exams. Please excuse me. Spare me, rather. Mortality. It could be a noun. It could be an adjective. Mortality rate. Mortality. What is the meaning of that? Mortality. Answer is F. That's right. Let us do it fast. It's already 8:59. What is the next one? Silver lining, idiomatic expression. What does it mean? That is an important one, the most important rather. J is the answer. An advantage that comes from a difficult or unpleasant situation. Advantage. In a difficult situation, you see something positive, you see a hope, that is called silver lining. Hypothesis, plural form. Part of speech, noun, obviously. What is the meaning of that? You guys are still with the third one. I want you guys to respond quickly. Fourth, what is the fourth one? Ideas or explanations. Answer is H. And J is over. Go to infirm, that is adjective. Weak, weak, fragile. What is the meaning of that? Ill or needing care, another meaning. I is the answer. Go to the sixth one. Yes, it is I. Fifth one is over. Go to the sixth one. Eagerness. Eager student, that is adjective. The student has a lot of eagerness, a lot of enthusiasm. Then it has to be a noun. What is the meaning of that? 6E. What is E? Enthusiasm to do something. That's right. Enthusiasm, eagerness to do something. And comorbidities, an important expression. It has been in the limelight. Part of speech, noun, obviously. What is the meaning of that? Presence of one or more additional conditions co-occurring with a primary condition. It goes with diseases. 2 or 3 diseases exist along with the primary disease. Then we use the expression comorbidities. What is the eighth one? Gamut. Means noun. What does it mean? Answer is C. A complete range or extent of something. Range, that is the right word, you have to remember. And whammy. Whammy has got a positive connotation as well as a negative connotation. Here, a magical spell or power. Here, part of speech, noun, answer, G. It also means an event that is unpleasant. But here, a magical spell or power. Power against COVID-19. Sober, usually it goes with drinking. And sober person, part of speech, adjective. And what is the meaning of that? Where do you find? Serious and calm. A serious approach without getting excited, without getting agitated. Sober approach, sober, serious and calm approach. Has anyone got all the 10 correct? You respond. In the meantime, word map. Whammy, an important word. Positive, magic, spell, important. Hex, not a regular word, still important. Bewitchment, an important word you got to remember. Bewitchment. And incantation, not a regular word, but do remember. Conjuration, important word, do remember. Charm, rather easy. Let us go to consolidation part. Phrasal verbs, 1 or 2 made trouble, but all the 10 correct, that's wonderful. Nowadays, you guys are getting vocabulary from the editorial, all the 10. A lot of students have been responding, I got all the 10 correct. That's highly appreciable. It shows improvement. That's wonderful. So many names I can't read out. Please go to consolidation part. It's already 9:03. Yesterday, one boy, I saw a particular message, 6th standard. Is that boy here today in the group? If the boy is there, boy or girl, I don't remember. Please say, yes, sir, I'm here. I wanted to find out the name, but I could not find. Yesterday, one particular boy, one particular student, I saw the message, I'm in 6th grade, and if that boy is here, I want that boy to respond. Yes, what is the first one? 5, yield up. To finally allow people to see something that has been hidden. It is not, some sing, that's right. Is that sing here? I don't remember the first word. Sing, I also remember. But I could not find his message. I appreciate that boy, 6th grade, he wants to listen to the editorial analysis. That's wonderful. Future SBI PO is here. He will definitely become very good at English and he will have the competitive edge. More than that, I appreciate his interest. It doesn't go with his age. In spite of that, he wants to listen. That is really appreciable and admirable. Okay. Here, yield up. Yield means to give in. Finally, allow people to see something that has been hidden. D is the answer. It goes with formal English. Win through, rather easy. What is the meaning of that? Finally succeed. Win. Finally succeed after trying hard to achieve something. Answer is, how come here? This is E. And this is also formal English. Vouch for. This is very important. This is the most important. What is the answer? The third one. Third is what? C. No. It doesn't go with promise. The clue here. Third one is A. Something is true or good because you have evidence for it. These two are rather confusing. But how to remember? Swear means promise. So the word promise is here. Obviously swear by, that is here, C. And watch for, that is A. Twitter away. Twitter, easy to make out, B. This is formal English. This is, again, formal, you could say. And swear by, I swear, that goes with informal English. Yesterday, someone wanted to know repeatedly, so what is the difference between formal, informal? The language you use at the workplace, factory, industry, office, with elders, that is known as formal English. The language you use with your friends and members of your family, that is known as informal English. Formal, informal, very important. Now go to idioms, important idioms. Swear has got two or three meanings, but swear actually, typical meaning, promise. I swear means what? I promise. Swearing in ceremony, another typical collocation. Achilles heel. It is not Achilles, Achilles. That's good. Please go to the next one. It's already 9:07. Achilles heel, they have given in SBI many a time. This is the most important idiom of their day, to use your expression. I think Rajashekhar's expression. 1D, what is it? Weak or vulnerable spot in one's nature or character. Absolutely right. Answer is D, and this goes with formal English. Something is. Thank you very much, Lifeline Bank. Thanks a lot for that. Please, what is a black leg? Right now, this is in the limelight. Rather, last month it was in the limelight. This is an important one. Usually in competitive exams, they do ask questions based on whatever is in the limelight. It could be related to a passage, a close test, or descriptive paper essay, or letter, or vocabulary. Black leg, what is the meaning? Have you responded the second one? Someone says C. What is C? One who continues to work when others are on strike. Exactly. This is, do remember this one. Achilles heel, black leg, formal English, workplace related. Cut the Gordian knot. Quite often in the newspaper you come across this one. And this is really important. They have given in SBI many a time. What is the answer? The third one. Answer is E. Solve a very difficult solution or problem by quick, bold, drastic action. Here, this is completely formal and written English. Do away with. This goes with informal English. What is the answer? Get rid of. Not double F, single F. Dispense with. Answer is B. Eye-opener. Something makes you realize. Then you say, it has been an eye-opener, something which makes one understand a situation or truth clearly. eye-opener, answer A, and it goes with informal English. Everyday English we say, eye-opener. Who has got all the 5 correct? But please focus on the last exercise. It's already 10 past 9. This is the most challenging exercise in my opinion. It has been 2 months. I think in the month of March you got these words. And if you remember all these words and get all the 10 correct, that is highly appreciable. Frontline workers, you cannot use black leg. Black leg has got a negative connotation. Frontline workers, they are trying to help a lot of people. And we cannot use the word expression black leg with frontline workers. I appreciate your attempt to make a sentence, but that is not the right collocation, not the right combination. Please go to the last exercise. One student response, I will write to save time. Moratorium, temporary suspension, part of speech, noun. Where is it? D is the answer, suspension. What is the second one? Alacrity, an important word. Alacrity, moratorium, in the limelight. And second one, what is the answer? Alacrity, eagerness, that's right. E is the answer. I'm sorry, here. Alacrity, noun, E is the answer. Contagion. Contagion. What is the meaning of that? 2E is correct. Go to the third one. If you think a particular word you cannot recollect, go to the next one. Dodgy. Dodgy, part of speech, adjective, meaning. What is the meaning? Third one, J, scarcity. No. I is correct, but hold that one. We'll hold that one. We'll go to dodgy. Dodgy has got many meanings, but one of the meanings, unreliable. No, C is the answer. Dodgy means what? Unreliable. Please go to the next one. Dodge has 2 different meanings. One is avoid, another unreliable. If you choose avoid here, then you will not get the answer for a different word. So here you have to go with the second meaning of the word dodgy. Means what? Unreliable. Throws. Throws means what? Severe pain. What is the other word for severe pain? Go to the fifth one. If you cannot answer that, hold that one. Elude. Elude means avoid. Here you have to use H. Elude, verb, and answer is H. 4 adjective C. That is over. Go to the next one. 5G. What is G? That is right. 5 is noun. G. Agony. Agonies or agony. Severe pain. Throws. And go to paucity. Rather easy. You have got many a time. Paucity of something, shortage of something, scarcity of something, noun, answer is J. Commendable, we have got so many times. What is the answer? Commendable, praiseworthy, commendable job, adjective, answer, praiseworthy. We have to do past buffering. And woes, woes means what? Sorrows, part of speech, noun, answer F. Obviated, that is an important word. Obviate, obviated, verb. And what are you left with? Removed. Answer is B. Has anyone got all the 10 correct? Before I wind up the session, I would like to thank all those students who gave the feedback yesterday. I responded, and has anyone got all the 10 correct? No one has said that. I think one student, who is this? Adi has got all the 10 correct. 9 is also wonderful. Manasa has got all the 10 correct. And Become a Banker has got all the 10 correct. Become a banker. Oh, sounds interesting. That's all for today. Have a nice day. And today, now it is 14 past 9. We have 300 plus. Now it has come to 298. That's a positive change. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow with another editorial to enrich your language proficiency. Thank you very much for being with me for an hour and 15 minutes. That's one.